Hey, John, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Laurie. Very excited to be here. I even got dressed up for you.
I see it. The video viewers will see it, not the audio viewers. So why don't you tell everybody who you are and what you're all about and what you're wearing?
So, my name is John Frehse. I run the global labor practice at a company called Ankura. I sit on the board of the Workforce Institute with you, where we yell and scream about a wide range of issues. And I am wearing a tuxedo today because I'm headed into the Journalism Freedom Awards. Very excited that John Oliver is hosting. So I am wearing a tux. And what I am all about is I spent the last 26 years obsessed with the workforce. People say obsessed, and I say obsessed. I am absolutely obsessed with the workforce. So hourly workers, I end up talking to a lot of executives, but not because I care about executives. I talk to them because I care about their employees.
All right. A lot of times, the number one complaint about my podcast is that people come on and my audience goes, but how do they make money? What do they actually do? So, I mean, it's one thing to talk about how you're the head of a specific practice. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so it's interesting. You have to fill sort of a gap in the marketplace. Like, what's the problem that people with a bunch of money have to solve? So I solve a couple of different problems. Where the real money is in bankruptcies and restructuring. So companies that have no money are the places where all the money is, which sounds insane. But when a creditor or a lender of some kind puts $500 million into a business, and that business starts to break covenants or not do the things that it said it was going to do,
Yeah.
financial advisors are hired to come in and understand the risk and make recommendations or fix the problem.
Yeah.
I do some of that work, which is from a labor perspective, understanding the labor strategies and operational strategies of that business.
Yeah.
Are they going in the wrong direction for a reason that we can remediate? Can we change something about that to fix it? That's one part of my business. The other part is our company's growing really fast and the employees are burnt out and turning over like crazy and it's awful. So one is saving the business, the other is saving the people. And I deal with, especially right now in uncertainty, I'm actually dealing with a lot of high growth businesses that don't have enough people, that have the wrong labor strategies. And so they hire me to come in and redesign the labor strategies. What are the shift schedules? How do we actually listen to the workforce?
Yeah.
To get the right solutions and get people to want to stay and want to come to work.
So they hire you or they hire people who work for you?
They hire me and a bunch of people that work for me.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I am like 20% of my time, I'm a keynote speaker where I'm up on stage yelling at people.
Hmm.
Which for the masochistic crowds, they love that.
Yeah.
And then the other 80% of the time, I'm working with leaders on these problems. And I've got people and people, I've got people a lot smarter than me that work for me,
Yeah.
but I have like data scientists that get into, SAP data and UKG or payroll data, and they understand where performance is going really well or not. I have people that are lawyers that are very good at certain things. And I have folks that are good at restructuring balance sheets. How do we, renegotiate loan agreements?
Right. There's this myth or maybe even some truth to it that the economy becomes unleashed
Yeah.
when Trump is in office, right? It's good for energy. It's good for companies. It's good for profits, right? It's good for revenue. Could potentially be good for, I don't know, our
But
trading
the
partners.
oil and gas thing is interesting, Laurie. Like, I was at a hotel with the oil and gas guys, and
Yeah.
they were like, "Hey, when Biden went into office, there was an immediate restriction on the gas pipelines in the Southeast, and we lost 75% of our workforce, and it was really bad."
Yeah.
But true story. Those things did happen. So I get that there's a reason why people would be concerned. I just think that we can't excuse all the other things. And also, the economy doesn't have like the high inflation that we experienced during Biden was due to things that happened several years before. You don't create policy and then everything changes.
No.
It takes several years for it to work through the economy, and to blame Biden for high inflation that really had to do with some very loose economic policies in the Trump administration, that's a difficult one.
Correct. Correct. Where I was going with this is that, I'm lucky enough to have people who advise on money, right? You get to a certain position in life, you have that. And one of my advisors said to me, what if it's best case scenario? And what if the economy just goes gangbusters and it's miraculous and a rising tide lifts all boats? I mean, really trying to give me the optimistic spiel on this, right? And I would accept that. Like, okay, That would be wonderful, but there are still social policies that will impact not only the development of the working class, but of all of Americans for decades, if not 100 years, right? We're going to have to claw back education, the right to reproductive freedom, all of these things. And those are the things that affect the working class more than, like, I would argue, the price of gas. So I don't know. Where do you see that intersection with the
But
working class?
Lori, you're talking about long-term strategies. We don't
Right.
believe in long-term strategies, except for reproductive rights, which is an immediate story.
Correct. That's
But everything else is like, yeah, 15 years from now, we realize that none of these people know how to do math because of a
yeah.
terrible educational structure. Who do you hold accountable? We don't even know who did it. So again, short-term headline only. And the question that I think, like, we real like as a country we need to come to grips with is who's responsible for intellectual complacency and civic complacency in our country. We can blame Trump. Some people can blame Harris. Some people can blame whoever they want to blame. The reality is we're all not only allowing this to happen, we're contributing to the
Yeah.
competency of our country. The
Yeah.
facts are there, right? We're just not reading them. We have a client recently, he used AI to come up with mission, vision, values, purpose. I mean, like, to talk about, like, but this is like a major multi-billion dollar company. And I was like,
I love it. AI plagiarizing the human body of knowledge,
oh,
right? Coming up with a specific mission, vision, and
I mean,
values of the company.
it's unbelievable. And it was like very long and complicated and cannot be repeated. And now it's published and they've got it on t-shirts in all their factories and people wear it around. It's
Mm.
amazing. The point is that
Yeah.
we, we, authenticity is completely missing. We say we're something that we're not. And, it's what I like is if you look at, and some of these are my clients, but if you look at Microsoft
Mhm.
and what their mission is,
Yeah.
it's very interesting about innovation and the ability to fail and to do certain things that drive the profitability and growth of the company.
Yeah.
And they say, we do it through diversity and inclusion, all these things, but like the story is we're going to go kick ass and it's going to be a bumpy ride and you better be ready. So buckle up.